What's up, YouTubers? Welcome to the Heated Waves podcast, bringing the heat. This, of course, is our MLB episode. I'm your boy T-Ball here in the Heated Waves studio on the Heated Waves podcast. To my right, as always, my good buddy, Mr. Bradley.
What is up, YouTube? Here to talk about the baseball. The playoff has finally started, basically. We got 3 games left in the season. We're here to tell you about all the pretty much scenarios, who's clinched, who's in, who's out, who has a chance at the division still, and who has playoff spots. So with that being said, let's get to it.
Easier for you to take yourself away from things we all go through, yeah. But if you knew that it was killing me, yeah, it's killing me, would you?
So we're going to start it off real fast with the NL, my favorite league. We're going to break it down for you here by the divisions. Starting it off in the NL East currently, the Braves, for the first time in a while, have clinched their division. Of course, I believe we saw them celebrate in that pond at their home stadium there. It was a little funny. Nationals, right behind them. They clinched that number 2 spot and got the wild card. Taking it over to the NL Central. The Cardinals, my favorite division here. This one's always a great division. Need to win 3 games.
The last 3.
To clinch the division, which would put the Brewers in second, obviously.
Yup.
They have clinched a postseason berth. Which basically means they're a wild card contender currently, but they still have a chance to actually take the division away from the Cardinals. I say no way.
All they have to do, okay? All they have to do, they're a game behind, so keep this in mind. Brewers are a game behind the Cardinals. Basically, they got to win 3, and if you guys lost 3, then boom, we win it by just 1 game, and they actually haven't won, and I couldn't tell you how many years, the freaking division. Also, just to mention this NL Central, the Brewers, this is the first time in 37 years that they have went back-to-back playoffs.
So, hypothetically, let's say the Brewers do take that division title away from the Cardinals somehow, some way. Not going to happen. But let's say hypothetically they do. That would have the Cardinals playing the Nationals in the wild card, which I don't think they have a problem with. Take care of Bryce Harper. I think we're good there. But moving on to the NL West, we have the powerhouse Dodgers.
Second best team in the league.
Clinching the division. They got that one wrapped up. Number 2 in that division was the D-backs, but they are eliminated. Dodgers in the NL West coming in with 103 wins right now. Looks like they're going to take that one. But let's go Cards. Mr. Bradley, I believe you have the AL.
Yeah, I did grant you the NL, which is my favorite, obviously, too, being a Brewers guy. But it will be the Brewers to overtake that. All we need you guys to do is lose 2 and we win 2, and we got it. So, moving on to the American League, division leaders and the race for home field advantage. Obviously, the Yankees tore up the league this year.
Yeah.
102 wins, 57 losses, clinched that division, clinched, obviously, a playoff spot. They're probably looking possibly back to the World Series, as good as they've looked. Moving on to the AL Central, it was the Twins. Kind of surprising.
Yeah, Twins have been a little up and down the last couple of years.
Right, they're right there at 99 and 60, clinched that division and playoff spot, obviously. And then last but not least, the AL West, the best team in the MLB this year. Very surprising. I didn't think they'd be the best, but definitely up there. It was the Houston Astros at 104 wins and 55 losses. They still got 3 games to go, like we said. So maybe they can, bump it on up to 107, win those next 3, and they've won their division. And looking to go to the World Series. I honestly, I think they probably do have one of the best, not just because of their record, but they're really good at home, and the last 10 games are pretty good.
They're killer. That whole American League is killer.
Yeah, it always is every single year. It seems like an American league, if you will.
Who's playing in the wild card over there?
So we got the race for the wild card spot. I'm going to go with the National League. I'll give you the American League. the number one spot, like we were talking about earlier. The Nationals have clinched the number one overall wild card spot. Like we said, Milwaukee is one game behind your beloved St. Louis Cardinals at 89 and 70, so they can still win the division, but no matter what, they have a playoff spot locked up, which I'm happy and actually very surprised, because with the injury to Yelich to his knee earlier this year, I thought, man, they're done.
Yeah, that was big.
And over the last 10 games, they're 9-1, and they've just been getting it done. It's been pitching that's killed them so far, but anything can happen with that still. Those National League is pretty much and is locked up. These two teams will be playing. We just don't know which way it's going to go yet. Still 3 games in the season, but the wild card for the American League is a bit different and a bit tricky.
Yeah, in the American League, with that wild card, you got the Athletics coming in at 95 and 63. Postseason odds are like a 97.6%, so
that's pretty
they're
high.
getting that locked up. And number 2 coming in with Tampa Bay Rays at 95 and 64. So they are really close together there. If it was my money, I'm taking the Rays. They just know the postseason really well. A lot better than the Athletics do. With that National League wild card game, I'm definitely taking the Brewers over the Nationals in that wild card game.
Very nice, very nice. But on the outside looking in for the American League is the Indians, still sitting there with, like I said, 3 games to go. They're at 93 and 66, 2 games behind. So they still have a chance. They have a 5% chance.
Good luck, Indians.
All right, so to go back over that real quick, for the teams who have clinched in the National League, it is the Dodgers. They win the NL West title. The Dodgers win the NL West title. Their World Series odds is the highest of any team so far between the National and American League at 28.6%. Next would be the Braves winning the NL East title at 8%. The Cardinals postseason berth, and they have a 5% chance of making the and winning the World Series. Nationals, like we said, postseason berth, 3%. And my Brewers sitting at a lonely 1%.
The bottom rung. I think they're discrediting them because of Yelich. But yeah, coming in at the AL, obviously Yankees locking down that Eastern title, Stros locking in the West, and the Twins looking to wrap up that AL Central. The Yankees surprisingly only have, I think the Yankees are a powerhouse.
Right.
Way more than the Dodgers. The wins don't really reflect it. But the odds coming in here for World Series odds is 15.4.
Which isn't very high.
You have the Stros at 26.6 and the Twins at 5.2. So not looking good for the Twins. There's a couple surprising teams here, Mr. Bradley, that didn't make it in, which I don't know. I'm surprised about some of these teams. Kind of let me down. When we were talking at the beginning of the season, we had high hopes for some of these teams.
And I'm going to go ahead and give you the AL, and I'll let you do the NL. A few of these teams are kind of surprising. Angels, big time surprising.
Yeah.
They had all that potential. I mean, got all those players and couldn't put it together the first season. It's almost like they need another year.
I guess that Japanese Babe Ruth didn't work out.
To go down the line, the Red Sox, man. Red Sox are usually always in it.
It was crazy to me to not see the Red Sox. I mean, that's a tough division, and the Red Sox have been good consistently over the last couple of years. I'm not sure what happened over there, but it just feels like they weren't able to get it together at the ending of the season, and it just seems like they got locked out pretty fast by a pretty good Astros and a pretty good Yankees team. So.
Oh, yeah. How about that National League side?
Yeah, a couple surprising teams over there. I thought the Reds were going to have a little run at it, but the Cubs were also competing. You know, like I said, those two teams being in that NL Central is always exciting over there. Those are two very good ball clubs, but I'm certainly glad the Cubs are not in this discussion. Rather the Brewers and the Cubs, that's for sure.
Right.
But I know we had some talks about, the Giants.
I brought up the Mets. I thought the Mets in the preseason were going to do a little something. They got eliminated.
I mean, I thought the Rockies were going to do pretty well, but obviously some of the others team coming in, Pirates weren't looking too hot, Padres, Marlins.
I don't remember the last time the Marlins were decent. It's been a while for them.
Yeah, it's just that whole move to Miami. They spent a little too much money on the stadium and not enough on talent. They've had some good talent come through there. They had Juan Carlos Stanton, but he got out of there quick because he knew he wanted to win a chip. So
yeah, he's like, I'm not going to play here.
But the Phillies, they're in that. I told you, watch out for that NL East division because the Phillies, the Mets, the Nationals, all great ball clubs, just unable to get it done. But that wraps up that NL division there.
With eliminations.
The AL's usually pretty standard, couple surprises over there, but from the Heated Waves podcast and the Heated Waves studio, thank you YouTubers for liking and subscribing. Don't forget to look us up on social media. I'm your boy T-Ball. This is Bringing the Heat. To my right
is Mr. Bradley. But thanks for stopping by, listening to the show, and don't forget to like, don't forget to share, comment, all that good stuff that T-Ball already said. We appreciate it, guys.
And exciting postseason.
Yep, my Brewers going to get it done. They're going to do it without Yelich. He's going to come back in time.
Let's go Cardinals.
He'll come back in time for the World Series, baby.
I hope we see you in the playoffs.
That'd be tight. All right, well, peace out, guys.